I was invited to go to Thailand to teach a group of about 400 missionaries. We spent the whole week with them. In the course of this week, I met Bill. That's not his real name. I'm using a different name. I met Bill, and he was a missionary to a different country. And we spent so much time. He really didn't understand. He said, well, John, I don't understand. Why don't you give the application to these stories? I said, Bill, if you want to give the application, you can do that. Learn the story, give the application. No. He says, I want to know why you don't do it. Well, we talked about it all week long. And finally, at the end of the week, I said, look, Bill, go back and experiment with this. Try it out and see if it works. Oh, okay, I will. He went back and he called in 6 nationals. He said, now I'm going to tell you a story. I won't give you the application. I want to see what you think it is. So he told them a story about Abraham sitting at his tent, and 3 men walked up, and he realized that one was the Lord. He offered to have them sit underneath a tree while he prepared some food, that he would wash their feet and have them sit underneath a tree, and that he would provide a meal, and then they could go their way. As they were sitting there eating the meal, they said that Sarah would have a baby at 90 years old. She laughed inside of herself, and they said, why does Sarah laugh? And she said that she didn't laugh. But a year later, she had a child, which they named Isaac. He told that story very carefully, much more careful than I just told it to you. Then he said, what do you get out of this story? What's your favorite part? What kind of jumps out at you? Oh, they said, the part where he washed their feet. Washed their feet. He hardly remembered mentioning that. He said, well, why is that? Oh, says, Abraham was a great man. He didn't need to be providing water for them to wash their feet. What does that mean? Does that mean we're supposed to serve others? Oh, Bill realized that if he had given the application to that story, it would have nothing to do with washing feet. It would be some Western application that would be true of his life. He said, I'd better experiment with this just a little more. He took a group of them. He met every Monday night. And more nationals came, and they had to learn these stories. He started with creation and went through the Old Testament one story at a time, never giving an application. He spoke in our group later, and he said, I've learned that the Spirit of God is much better at making an application of the story than I am. He noticed as they went from one story to the other, going through the Bible, that they were gaining a chronological understanding of the Bible and of the stories of God. He says as they went through, they were connecting the points as they were going through. After he was done with the Old Testament, he took them through stories of the life of Christ. When he got at the end of that, he found many of them came to Christ. One at a time, they were coming to Christ. And he had not presented the gospel to them, but they came on their own. It was a slow, permanent change. He wasn't affecting how the story impacts the listener. And he was allowing the stories themselves to change their pool of true stories so they could make a new decision.